What would you think if I told you there's an almond that tastes like Buldak? How about chicken-flavored almonds or matcha-flavored ones? As unbelievable as it sounds, all of these flavors actually exist and they're all from a single brand. Apparently, these are must-buy items for tourists visiting Korea, but ironically, most Koreans don't get why. I'm Emily May, and today on Maikei픽스, we're diving into my favorite snack brand, BAF. These days, it's all the rage, and many K-pop idols from different groups are often seen eating it, and there are even multiple flagship stores in the heart of Seoul. But it all started as a product that consumers dismissed as a cheap knockoff. So let's rewind to 2014. Back then, Koreans were totally obsessed with a single snack, the honey butter chips. Convenience stores kept running out of stock. It got so bad that people were even buying empty chip bags because they wanted to smell the scent. But honey butter chips weren't just a trend, they were a full-on social phenomenon, and that craze quickly spread to other snacks. Around that time, the convenience store chain GS25 reached out with a question, can you make honey butter flavored almonds? And that's when Yoon Moon-hyun, the CEO of BAF, remembered a recipe that he had tucked away in a drawer. It was something that he developed through dozens of trial and error attempts, a coating method to keep sugar-coated almonds from sticking together. And at the time, it had seemed commercially unviable and was basically forgotten. But 2 weeks later, that forgotten recipe was reborn as a brand new product, the honey butter almond. And at first, it was simply accused of piggybacking off the success of honey butter chips. But by releasing a wide variety of unique flavors, BAF built up its own strength and identity. And now it's the other way around. They're the ones struggling with copycats trying to imitate them. And in its first month, the sales hit 200 million won, and then 1 billion, and then 2 billion. And then there's a really big response, and then we make more almonds. So here's something to think about. Korea doesn't even produce almonds. So how did a quintessentially Korean almond brand come to be? Well, BAF isn't just a company that sells nuts. The CEO traveled around supermarkets in the US and Europe, and that's when he made a key discovery. In Western supermarkets, processed nuts take up about a quarter of the snack aisle. But in Korea, nuts were mostly just seen as nutritious food for one's well-being, plain tasting, and sold in the raw form. That's when he had a realization. Nuts are going to be a snack too. BAF began pioneering a new market, flavored almonds, and that's the very first result, the honey butter almond. So word of mouth quickly spread, and even without any formal marketing, Chinese buyers started reaching out on their own. Now BAF exports to over 25 countries. At one time, their product was even spotted on the Prince's table in Abu Dhabi, and it went wild on social media. So these days, the brand has moved beyond just almonds. They launch all kinds of unique collaborations. There's a unique popcorn for movie theaters, there's almond-coated donuts with Krispy Kreme, and even wild products like honey butter makgeolli. In other words, they're carving out a space that's uniquely theirs. From black sugar milk tea to garlic bread to cookies and cream, they're constantly developing new flavors, and now they have over 100 flavors. So whatever you're craving, they probably got it. How about we try the Buldak flavor next? Tell you how spicy this is. Oh my god, it's so good. Oh my god, it's so spicy. From a forgotten recipe in a drawer to a global sensation with honey butter almonds, today's episode of Maikei픽스 was all about BAF. So I'll see you in the next story, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Herald Muse. See you next time.